There we go. There we go. There we go. Welcome, welcome. All right. So this is the first time we're doing this. This is Mr. Sean from Yatja. That stands for Your Actuary Tutor Jamaica, right? So we specialize in math tutoring for all of the high school students once you're doing CSEC or once you're doing CAPE, all right? So I'm going to pause real quick and then I'm hopefully going to provide this recording for everybody. Um, and give me 1 second. There we go. All right, sorry about that. Okay, now what we want to first start off with, the scope for today is going to be integer evaluation. All right, so when it comes on to integer evaluation, the main thing we want to focus on here is what is an integer. Yeah, so integers are your positive and your negative numbers. So hopefully, let me kind of put this here. Let me just pull up my open board and then everybody can kind of see. All right, welcome. There we go. Okay. All right. So we're gonna start off first with what is an integer. Yeah. Now, what's an integer? Integer is a positive or a negative number, right? So we're talking about the positive or negative counting numbers that we might have. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm happy you guys could join. Please don't feel free to just fire in the chat what you don't understand. I'm just going to keep on going with the narrative, and hopefully everybody can catch on. Yeah. So the main thing here, we want everybody to start to understand where math is, why they're struggling in math. Yeah. So hopefully you guys can see my screen. So if I put this on the screen right now, a simple 2 plus 5. Yeah, let me see if you can see that. Let me know. But that's gonna give me 7, right? Yeah. And people wonder, why are that simple? Yeah, but why is it the case that we're starting to struggle when it's, say, for example, we're gone into something in algebra, right? Something like that. Yeah. It's because everything from here helped or supported here. So when you struggle with things here, you're going to struggle when things get into the algebra realm. Yeah. All right. So I hope that's making a lot of sense to everybody. So let's kind of go into integer evaluation. So what I'm talking about here is the same logic we're going to use for negative 3 plus 7. You're going to see me use that same logic of negative 3x plus 7x. You're going to see me use the same logic all over again. All right. So integers are just a positive and a negative numbers, right? So positive and negative counting numbers. You notice when we say counting numbers, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it keeps on going. All right. -1, -2, -3, -4. Those are your integer values. All right. Now, for the case of we're adding regular numbers, right? 3 plus 7, you tell me says 10. All right, boom. That's easy. Yeah. So then now we're gonna have to go through what's causing problems for students. I noticed that a lot of students start to struggle when I make it -3 plus 7, or I make it as 3 minus 7, or -3 minus 7. Yeah. I notice a lot of struggling happening there. All right. Let me take a pause though. Let me kind of see something. 1 second. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, that should be fine. All right, give me 1 second. Sorry about this. I'm gonna resume in just a second. Mm, 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 mm. All right. Sorry about that. My students are starting to text me. Yeah. Now let's kind of keep on going. All right. So now when it comes on to integer evaluation, the main thing we want to start to focus on is, right, when I have it as, say, for example, -3 + 7, right? Now, what's the logic here? I like to think of things as, when we go out in the real world, is either you're going to owe somebody money or you're going to have money. Is either one of the two states, right? And so when I minimize it like that, I think of this as saying, well, you know what? I owe you guys $3 and I have $7. Now I ask the logical question here. Can I pay you off? Do I have enough to pay you off? Yeah? Yes or no? So if that's the case, if it's a yes, then okay, 7 is bigger than 3. I can pay you off, right? So when I pay you off now, how much are going to have left over, right? And so that is what's going to give you the answer to this problem, right? When I think of negatives, I think of owing. When I think of positives, I think of I having, right? So then I'm going to say, hey, well, I can pay you off and I'm going to have $4 left over, right? And so that's what gives me the answer of 4, yeah? So let's kind of see if that makes sense. So we're going to kind of do a couple more. Let me kind of see something real quick. Yeah. Yeah. And so now when we go on to another one now, right? So we're going to go do to -8 + 13, for example, right? Once again, when I see a negative, I think, okay, I owe somebody. When I see the +13, that means I have. So then I can pay off the $8 and I would have $5 left over, right? So that is how you kind of apply the logic there when it comes on to integer evaluation, when it's all about, hey, how much I have, how much I owe, and then what's my status after that. Yeah. And so I hope that's making a lot of sense. Yeah. Now we're going to kind of keep on going. So we want to keep on going in the vein of, say, for example, -11 + 7, right? Once again, signs are different. So the signs on the number is a sign that comes in front of the number. The signs on the number are the signs that comes in front of it. Yeah. So if I have -11, that means I owe 11, right? I have a +7, that means I have $7. But I can't pay off how much I owe. So then that means, so if I owe you 11 and I only have $7, that means I can't pay you off. So that means that I'm still going to be owing you. So I'm going to still owe you. So I put a negative there. I take the bigger and I subtract the smaller. That gives me 4, right? And that is going to be how much I'm going to owe you ultimately. I'm going to owe you $4 ultimately. Yeah. So hopefully that logical thing is kind of making sense. Of course, we can speed up this process, but we want to make sure when you learn this, you thoroughly learn that, hey, it's all about figuring out what status you're in, if you're owing or you're having money afterwards. Yeah. So this is what is called integer evaluation. That is so key, that I think is happening and plaguing and affecting a lot of students, and I can't really understand what's going on. Right? Let's keep on going again now. So I'm going to give a few of them here. I'm going to say negative. What we want to do here? -25. I start off with a little basics. Yeah. -13 + 8. -9 + 17. Let's do 17. And then third one is going to be -15 plus 12. Yeah. So once again, we're going to kind of apply our having our own kind of logic, right? I owe you 13, but I only have 8. Can I pay you off? No, I can't. So then I still owe you. How much do I owe you? Just take the bigger And that's going to reveal what's left that I have to pay you off. So that's why I'm taking the difference between the two numbers, aka I'm subtracting the two numbers. So when I'm subtracting the two numbers, that's me taking the difference. So that's going to give me 5. All right. So then I will go again now. So once again, when you see a negative integer or a negative value, right, you're going to be thinking of it from a owing logic. You owe somebody some money. So this one says -9. So I owe you $9, right? Now I have 17. So I'm going to do a job. I'm going to get some money. So I'm going to have 17. So when I have the 17 now, can I pay off the 9 that I owe you? Yes, I can. So then I'm going to have a positive value left over. Now, how much is going to left over when I'm taking $9 out of the 17, I'm going to pay you off. So then that means I'm going to have $8 left over, right? So I'm going to have 8 as a positive value as the answer. So this is the having an owing logic when it comes on to integer evaluation, all right? Now, let's keep on going. Ready, set, go. -15, that means what? I owe you 15. No, I have 12. Do I have enough to pay you off? No, I don't. So then that means I owe you still. How much do I owe you? I owe you the difference, or when I take what's left, right, which would be $3, I'm going to still owe you $3 as how much is left over for me to pay. All right. So that's in a nutshell the logic of integer evaluation that I'm seeing happening to a lot of students. Right now, I threw this out in one of the videos, right, in terms of when we can go again now, right? So if you notice, that was an example of when you have the signs being different. So the signs can be different like this, right? So this is where you kind of say, all right, -3 plus 17. The signs them different, you know. The sign on this 3 is a negative. The sign on this 17 is a positive, right? Boom. Now, I can make it like this also, 17 minus 31, right? The sign on this 17, he's hidden. He's not there, you know, but he's there, right? So he's actually positive, but they don't like to write it, yeah? Because if I just erase this, what would you tell me that number is? You tell me, so that's a positive 17, don't? Right? So then what we're going to do here, we're going to realize that every number has a representative sign for it. And once you realize that, you're never going to go wrong. So then now we're going to say, hey, this is a negative. So we owe 3. So when we say negative, we're going to say, well, owe. So me owe you $3. Now have meaning that I have money, positive. I have money, $17. So that means I can pay you off. I have enough to pay you off. So then if we can pay you off, that means we have money left over. So then that means we have a positive answer when I get it out here. So then how much I'm going to have left over? I'm going to take the bigger number, I'm going to subtract the smaller number, and that gives you the 14 that you're going to have left over. All right? So hopefully that's starting to make a lot of sense, right, as it pertains to integer evaluation. Now, this is when the signs are what? Different. Yeah? That's the logic you're going to use when the signs are different. All right? Now, let's kind of talk about when the signs are the same. So this is the one that I had in the video. I don't remember what the question actually was in the video, but let me kind of just see if we can kind of do something again. -7 minus 5. Now, every time I said that we see a negative, we're going to say we owe. So this means me owe you $7. But then I owe somebody else $5. So I owe 2 people. So how much I owe in total? That's what's going to give you your answer. Yeah. So that's what that is logically saying to you. So there's something where students learn negative times and negative, 2 negatives make a positive. That don't apply right here. So yeah. So then the -7 minus the 5, I owe you 7. I'm gonna owe John Brown 5. So that means I owe, hence negative, a total of $12. I owe a portion of my money to you, 7. And I owe a portion of money to John Brown, 5. So I owe 12 in total. Yeah. So hopefully when the signs are the same, people are starting to see what's happening. Yeah. So I'm going to kind of put a summary after all of this so everybody can kind of see when the signs are different, what do you do? When the signs are the same, what do you do? But in every instance, you can just use logic, right? If you have money or you have owing money, it's either the 2 states you're in. If you're a negative number, you owe. If it's a positive number, you have. All right. So let's go again. Ready, set, go. So let's go to a few more. All right. So let's mix it up now. Ready, set, go. Negative 21. No, I'm not want to go to 21 so far. Let's start off a little simple, and then we can work our way up there. How about that? -3. Go. You guys can put it in the chat. Let's go. -12 plus 17. Go. And then what else? Somebody give me something. -4 plus 12. There we go. All right. Give you guys a couple seconds if you want to go attempt it. I'm actually waiting until everything kind of starts up how it's supposed to. But you know what? At the end of the day, we're here to teach. Yeah. So I hope I'm going to provide the recording for everybody. And hopefully you guys can share it with everybody. And then we can keep on building on the momentum here. Right. So let's go straight into it. Right. So -7 minus 3. Logically, I can break it down as logic first. Right. I owe you $7. I owe somebody else $3. So that means I owe how much in total? Because that's what it's really asking me. Yeah, I owe 10 in total. So I do a 7 plus 3, and that's how I get the 10. Yeah. Then now what's next? Then now I'm gonna go here, -12. That means what? I owe you $12. How much do I have? I have 7. So that's how much money I have. Do I have enough to pay you off? Can I get out of debt? Yes, I can. So I can pay you off, and I will have what? 17 minus 12, $5 left over. Yeah? So hopefully that's making tons of sense. So when you see negatives, that means what? You're owing. When you see positives, that means what? You're having. Yeah? Let's go here. What's the logic here? I owe you how much? $4. How much do I have? I have $12. Do I have enough to pay you off? Yes. Once I say yes, I've already figured out the sign. Once I know the sign, if it's I have money, that means it's a positive number I'm going to have right there. If it means I owe money, it's a negative number going to be right there, right? So then I'm going to take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number, and move on with my life. So I'm going to have a positive 8 right here, right? So welcome to integer evaluation. If you notice, it's not that hard. Right? So this is the first round that I want to make sure that everybody understand. Right? Now, let's kind of keep on going. Let me know if you have any questions. Put it in the chat, please. And I'm here to help you. All right. Now, let's go into another round. Let's keep on practicing, man. Because the thing with this math thing, if you're going to get better at it, you have to practice it a lot more. Right? So let's go again. If I have -11 plus 20, right? What's the logic here? Somebody explain the logic to me here. What would I be saying to somebody to explain this? Yeah. So then that means I owe you 11 and I have 20. Yeah. I owe you 11. I have 20. I think I have enough to pay you off. I can pay off my debt. I can get out of debt. Right. So then that means I can use $11 of my $20 and pay off the debt. All right. And then make up $9 remaining. So once again, now let's slow it down for anybody that didn't catch it, right? Once you have a negative, you're going to be saying I owe. Once you have a positive, you're going to say that you have. Then now you're going to apply logic. You owe 11 and you have 20. Can you pay off how much you owe? Yes. Then once you say yes as the answer there, the number going to be positive, okay? Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That's going to leave what's going to be left over. When you take the difference between two numbers, it gives you what's left over. So then that's going to give me 9 is left over. So I'm going to have $9 left over. I'm going to pay off you. I'm going to have $9 for good do with whatever I want to do with the $9. Right? So that makes a lot of sense. That is integer evaluation. Let's go again. Ready, set, go. If I have -8 minus, I don't know, 11, right? What's the logic here? Yeah, I owe you $8 and I owe another person $11. So that means, wait, if I owe 2 people, there's no way you're going to have money after that, So there's no way this answer is going to be positive. No way, because you owe one and you owe another person. How are you going to find money? Yeah. So then that means that you're going to owe 2 people. So once you owe 1.8 and you owe 1.11, that means that you owe how much in total is what they're asking you for. So you can add them together and get the 19. So you're going to owe 19, or there will be a negative 19 as your answer. Yeah. So hopefully we're trying to make sure everybody gets this. Once this concept sink in, they will move into algebra realm with it. All right. So that's the main thing about it. This is what pops up in algebra that students then struggle with thereafter. Right. So we might do a little simplify today. I don't know. We're going to kind of see how everything is. Now, I like to categorize it as 2 things. It's either they're going to be different sign, and CXC can't give you anything else, or not just CXC, any math thing can't just give, they can't give you anything else but these in the integer realm. So this is what I want to make sure you guys are understanding, because if you get it, once you get it, you know, everything crystal clear for you going forward. Now, when it's different signs, right? Say, for example, I have negative 11 plus, I don't know, give me something, plus 4, right? Yeah. So that would mean what? Let's kind of think about it with ourselves. Once you have different signs, I can summarize it with logic. I can say I owe 11 and I have 4. So I owe you $11, chat. I owe you $11, right? And I have $4. So I owe you 11 and I have 4. Do I have enough to pay you off? No. I still owe. So I'm going to still owe. So I'm going to put a negative. And then how much am I going to still be owing? I'm going to take the bigger number and subtract the smaller number. That give me 7. So that means I'm still going to be owing you $7. I pay off some of my debt, you know. I use my $4 off. I'm going to pay off some of my debt. But that means I'm still going to be owing you at the end of the deal, right? So now that is when it is different signs. Now, how can I speed up my students? Well, you know what I said to my students? It's very simple. Once the signs are different, the sign on the bigger number is going to win the battle, right? So the sign on the bigger number here is negative, because 11 is bigger than 7. So then the answer is going to be negative. Then you're going to take the bigger number and subtract the smaller number, always. So once the signs are different, you can summarize it as what? Who is the bigger number? What's his sign? He's going to be the winner of the battle, right? So let's kind of see if we can apply that in a quicker way now, because the logical way, we can always use it everywhere. You can use it all the time. But what you're going to experience in class, and when you're doing the stuff in school, you're going to want to move a little quick, right? A little bit quickly. So negative 15 plus 7. Signs are different. The sign on this 15, he's negative. The sign on this 7, he's positive. Which number is bigger? 15. His sign is going to win. So then that means I'm going to have a negative here. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number, move on with your life. So that can give me negative 8. Done. Right? Or, yeah, if you want to use the logic, I have no problem. You owe $15. You have 7. Do you have enough to pay off the 15? No. So that means you still owe. That's why I put a negative. Then you take the bigger, subtract the smaller, move on. Right? So it's all about learning and then applying. That's all we're going to do here today in integer evaluation. Learn and then apply. Share it with your friends. Make them know what's going on. I'd appreciate that. More traction, more people coming in. I just want to share the free game so people stop struggling with the maths. Yeah? Ready, set, go. What's next? What can we do after this? We can do more on the same logical thing, right? So negative, let's increase the numbers a little bit. Negative 25 plus 14. Negative 30 plus 45. Yeah, let's increase the numbers a little bit, right? Now, once again here, what's the logic? We can use it logically, but we can always go to what's the thing in summary. Once the signs are different, this sign is different than this sign. This is a negative 25, positive 14, right? So 2 different signs. So we're going to literally, who is going to win? The sign on the bigger number. So the sign on the bigger number is 25 bigger than 14 last time I checked. So the sign on him is going to win, negative. Take the bigger, subtract the smaller, move on with your life. That's 11. That's your answer. Then we'll go here. What was this again? This is negative 30 plus 45. Who is the bigger number? 45. What's the sign on him? He's positive. So I'm going to expect a positive answer. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. Move on with your life, please. Right? So the answer will be positive 15 is your answer. Yeah? So I hope that's making a lot of sense for everybody. Yeah? So that's how you apply things when the signs are different. All right? Let's go through when the signs are the same one last time. So when the signs are the same now, just like when I gave you 3 plus 7, that's a positive 3 plus a positive 7. That you notice you never even think about it, you just give me 10 as the answer, which is a positive answer. So a same sign, the same positive and a positive, but both positives. You end up being positive, and then you're going to add the numbers together. Yeah? Right? So why did I did that in that way? That might confuse some people, but I don't really want to confuse nobody. But the main thing is that when I'm doing negative 3 minus 7, they have the same sign. He is negative and he's negative. So they're going to end up being negative at the end, right? So if you notice, same sign, keep the sign. So when they're both positive, keep the positive. When they're both negative, keep the negative and then add them together. So that will give me negative 10 as my answer here. Yeah? Or you can go back to the logic, You can just say, I owe you 3. I'm going to owe our next person 7. So then that means I owe in total $10. That's why you get. So you can use the logic same way if you want to. I have no problem with that. All right? Okay. Now, let's take a quick pause here. All right. So appreciate the likes, everybody. Appreciate that. Please share it with anybody, any student that you might know. The replay is going to be out also, so you can share that when that's out. Yeah. So let's see if we can keep on going and build on this. Now, for those of you who are saying that, yo, this is too basic, Mr. Sean. Well, when I give you this now, there's a reason why you probably struggle with it. Yeah. When it's algebra included with it. But it's the same logic you're going to use. So we're going to kind of do a little bit of application here now, because I want everybody to know how things get applied. Now, in the algebra realm, yeah, we're going to find ourselves, like in the regular number realm, we end up add numbers together. We end up subtract numbers from each other, divide numbers, multiply numbers, the 4 pillars of math: add, multiply, divide, subtract. Yeah, there we go. So in algebra, we're going to find ourselves doing the same thing. Now, when I think about algebra, though, I don't think of it like how people probably think of it. So when I think of it like this. So hopefully this can help everybody to kind of understand it. So if we have 3a plus 2a, yeah, I think of it as I have 3 apples and I'm adding 2 apples. So how much apples am I gonna have? So 5 apples, right? Don't? Yeah? So think of it from that realm. Don't think of it in the algebra realm, right? If you have 3a plus 2a, you're going to have 5 of the a them, right? So that is where we're going to start to see the integer evaluation pop up. That's one way how this integer thing affects you when you're doing algebra, all right? Now let's kind of see how we can build on it now, right? So then when I give you this now, negative 7, I don't know, y plus 11y. I'm going to put 11y, right? This is how it comes up. You have, I'm owing you 7, and then y, I'm going to call it yellow crayons. So I'm going to owe you 7 yellow crayon. I'm going to have 11 crayon. So I owe you 7 yellow crayon, and I have 11 crayon. So can't I pay off how much I owe? So the same answer you get when I do this, negative 7 plus 11, are the same answer you can get in the algebra realm. So then I owe you 7 yellow crayons. I have 11. Can I pay you off? Yes. So my answer should be positive. Cool. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That gives me 4. So I'm going to have 4 yellow crayons after all of that. Same answer you'd have gotten in the numerical realm. Negative 7 plus 11. You owe 7. You have 11. Can you pay him off? Yes. So then that means you'd have positive 4 left over. Numerical realm, algebra realm. Same thing, don't? right? So that's what we want to make sure that students start to realize, and it's not like no rocket science, not crazy, right? Let's go again. Let me know if that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. Put it in the chat if it didn't, so I can go over it again. I can fix it up in another way for you. All right. Okay. So let's keep on going. So see if we can do a little bit more in what's called algebra simplifying. Okay. Simplify. Simplify algebra. When you see that word in CXC, simplify just means to combine similar things together. All right. Let's go. Ready, set, go. So I'm going to give you a couple. I'm going to give you -8 plus 27, numerical realm. I'm going to give you, what else you want now? Let's go in the algebra realm a little bit. -5 p plus, give me some, 12p. There we go. And then we're going to jump back into the numerical realm. -10 minus 17. There we go. 17. Boom. There we go. All right. So give you guys a couple seconds to kind of knock those out. And then, yeah, we'll review. All right. Ready, set. I feel like that's too quick still. Let me check my chat. I think I have a session right after this. All right, there we go. My busy Saturday. All right, so let's go through it. So then what's happening here now? I owe 8. I have 27. Can I pay off my debt? Yes, I can. 27 is bigger than 8, so I can pay it off. And I have a positive answer. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. Can 7 subtract 8? No, so I have to borrow. So I'm borrow from him turn into a 1. That thing that you borrowed, he goes and helps the other guy because he needed the help. 17 minus 8, that's going to give me 9. 1 minus 0, that just gives me 1. So then I would have a positive 19 as my answer. Let's make sure we understand how to subtract. Make sure if you don't know, let me know so I can just put it in a scope if you don't know how to subtract and borrow, right? But the answer will be positive 19. Now, if we wanted to do it the quick way, all we have to do is say what? Which number is bigger? 27. What's the sign on him? Positive. So he's going to win the battle. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number, and you do the same thing again. And you would have got the same answer of 19. So the logic is to help you figure out what sign you're going to get at the end. That's what the logic is supposed to help you with. All right? Now, ready, set, go. This is -5. So what's P? -5P. What starts with P? I don't know. You owe somebody 5 pencils. So I owe you 5 pencils. I'm going to like talk about P and A, B, C, and X and Y. I just like to give it an actual context in the real world. So I owe you 5 pencils. And I have 12 pencils. Can't I pay off how much I owe you? Yes, I have enough. I have more than enough pencils to give you back. Right? So then my answer is going to be a positive number. Right? Because I can pay you off. Right? Once the answer is yes, you can pay it off. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That means I'll get an answer of 7. So I'm going to have a positive 7. Sometimes we see students leave off the P. But remember, this is from the context of pencils, not in the numerical realm. So I owed 5 pencils. I have 12 pencils. So then at the end of the day, I'm going to have 7 pencils. There you go. Right? So hopefully that makes sense. Okay? All right. Next one now. Next one. We're going back in the numerical realm. Negative. So the sign in front of the number gives a sign for the number. So I owe you 10. I owe John Brown 17. So I owe you, I'm owe John Brown. So how can I ever have money after that? Come owe 2 person. So that means I'm going to owe a total of 27. So you're going to end up adding them together and get the how much you totally owe. Okay. So I hope that's pretty clear. Let me know. All right. Let's step. I kind of, you guys have to kind of also keep me in a loop on if everything is clear. That's the whole goal of this session, right? I'm giving you this. I want to catch everybody up, man. Catch everybody up. Make everybody kind of appreciate this math, right? So when we see negatives, right, in front of a number, right, that's the sign for the number. When you see when sometimes you might see explicit positive in front of a number, like I preview this, then this is a positive 7. right? So sign in front is for the sign for that number. Yeah. So let's go again. Let's see if we can do a little bit more of simplifying algebra, right? So what we're learning in algebra now is that similar things can combine. So if we give you, and we're going to talk about this in probably the next class when we create expressions on that. Me have 3 apple and me have $7. Me no want students that tell me say them have 10 A's right here. No. So listen to what I'm just say. I have 3 apples. I have $7. Since when apples and dollars can combine, right? So then this is kind of showing you if they look different, please don't combine them, right? You're going out, if I give you this, I'm going to tell you to simplify. I want you to tell you, sir, well, the answer is you're going to have 3 apples left over, 3 apples, and you're going to have $7. That's all you're going to have, sir. Can't combine it. Yeah. If I have 3 apples and you gave me 4 more apples, apples can add with apples. So if I have 3 A's and I'm going to add 4 A's, they're similar. So that's why you can combine them to get the 7 A's. Hope that makes sense, right? So let me know, right? So what we're learning here, like terms combine. That's what your teacher that's what your teacher meant when I said like terms combine. Similar things can add with similar things. All right, let's go again. Ready, set, go. If we have negative 2R, I'm gonna give you every letter of the alphabet. Negative 2R plus 11R. Yeah. So then now, what does that mean? That means we're going to go to our logic. Yeah. I owe 2. I don't know what starts with R. 2 radios. I owe you 2 radios. I have 11 radios. So remember here, we're gonna start to. If you guys didn't catch it, if something has a negative in front of it, you owe somebody something. You only have a positive, you have. So I owe you 2 radios. I have 11. Can't I pay off how much I owe you? Yes. So then I would have a positive number here. Yeah. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That gives me 9. I'm going to have 9 radios left over. Yeah. So I hope that's making tons of sense right there. Right. So that's how you're going to apply. And this is how this integer things kind of affect students when they've gone into the algebra realm when they don't know that, and then that's what makes them get the problem wrong. So we don't want to get the problem wrong. All right. So let's go again. Ready, set, go. Now it's just going to be going into drills. So this is now once you learn something, drills. Learn something, drills. That is what they talk about when they say practice maths. So you don't study maths, you will practice it. Let's go. Ready, set, go. We're gonna mix up the integer realm and the algebra realm. So let's go. We're gonna have negative. No, give me something. 12x. Cause I love to see x. I might as well give you some of the x's them too. 35x. We'll get the numbers them a little bit bigger. I don't know if anybody wants more challenging enough. Tell me that. I don't know. I know. I gauge my audience. Ready, set, go. Well, oh, this one throws people off. So let's go. -7 minus 13. Go. All right. I haven't given you much of those. So I'm gonna give you some of those now. And then what else? What else? Give me some. Why, Lord? Oh, there we go. -5z minus 13z. There we go. That looks good. All right. Give you guys a couple seconds. Let me know. Share it with your friends. Let them know. I'll make the recording public, of course. All right. Let's go through the logic. So what we're learning here, anytime you're doing any sort of addition and subtraction of anything, you're going to be applying logic. Can you write it down for me, please? Please and thank you. Right. So this now, what does that mean? I owe 12. I don't know what starts with X, so I can't give you an example like real. I don't know. My vocabulary. I owe 12 something, right? I have 35 of that something. Yeah. So can I pay off how much I owe? Yes. So then my answer is going to be positive. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That's going to give me 23. So I'm going to have 23 of that something. So I have 23x. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. So when we see that, let's know that we owe. This means that means that I have, right? And you can kind of go straight into it. If you want a quick version, some students don't like the logic, so I might as well give you the quick version too. Which number bigger? 35. What's his sign? His sign is going to be the winner. So then that's means to be a positive. Then you take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number, you get the 23, you move on with your life. Don't forget the X though. I never give you, it had an X in there, so make sure you put back the X, all right? Let's go here now. 7 minus 13. Yeah. Now the 7 doesn't have a sign. It doesn't appear to. But everybody should know every number has a sign. Is that a number is positive or negative? 0 has no sign. 0 is neutral, right? So then we're gonna say, hey, well, we know that this is a positive 7. So I have $7. I owe you 13. So can I pay you off? No, I can't. So then that means that I'm still going to owe you. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. So when the signs are different, when you have an O at the same time, you're going to be subtracting. So I'm going to still owe you $6, right? Okay, let's go through to Z now. This one says I owe 5. I don't know what starts with Z. Zebra. I owe 5 of these, and I owe you or another person 13 of the same thing. So that means I'm going to still be owing 18 Z's now, right? So when the signs are different, this was an example. Let me kind of change the marker now, right? This was an example of the sign being different. This was a sign where signs were different, yeah? So when the signs are different, you're going to end up subtracting, yeah? When the signs are the same, you're going to end up adding, yeah? If you wanted anything like that. So when the signs are the same, right, you're going to end up adding them together. So that's why I did there to get the -5 minus the 13. I got -18 because I'm adding the 5 and this 13. Because I owe you 5 and I owe somebody else 13. So it's really asking me, how much do I owe in total, right? So I hope that's making tons of sense, all right? So welcome to the world of numerical foundation, right? Now, how we're going to wind down today is going to be, we're going to kind of just keep on reinforcing. So it's going to go. Ready, set, go. I'm going to give you guys a couple more. Let me kind of see. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're going to do -18 plus 12. -9 minus 7. -26 plus 14, and the last one will be -38 plus 62. There we go. Those look like some nice ones there. So what we're going to do is just apply, practice, 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 practice. Yeah. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds as I check on that. Okay, that's cool. The students are ready. All right. So we jump into it. Make sure you solve it before I solve it, you know. that's the number one thing. Make sure you solve it before I solve it, so you can kind of know, all right, I'm on the right track. Yeah. All right. Signs are looking different here. We can go through the logic though. Oh, 18, I have 12. Do I have enough to pay off the 18? I don't have enough because I only have 12. So then I'm going to still be owing. The whole point of that logic was to figure out their sign. That's what the point of that logic was. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. Move on with your life. Don't waste too much time. Yeah? This guy here, I owe 9. I owe 7. So I owe you 9 and I owe somebody else 7. So that means I'm always going to still be owing, right? So there's nothing to figure out there. You owe somebody and you owe somebody. And I must owe after the end of that, right? So then I'm going to owe, and I'm going to then add 9 plus 7, which gives me 16. So I'm going to now owe a total of $16, right? Okay, let's go again. You owe somebody $26. You have 14. Do you have enough to pay off how much you owe? Just regular logic. Do you have enough to pay off how much you owe? No. So then that means you still owe. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. Wait, the bigger number never won't come up, right? Then that's going to give me 12. So then I'm going to still owe $12. All about logic. That's all you got to learn. Yeah. Last one. Can I erase these? All right. Last one now. You owe 38. You have 62. Right? Can you pay off how much you owe? Yes, you can. So then I know I'll have a positive answer. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. Yeah. Can 2 subtract 8? Not last I checked, he can't, right? So you gotta borrow from him, he turns into a 5. If he turned to a 5, that means you borrowed 1 from him because he went from 6 to a 5. That's why you always put a 1 over here. That's now 12 minus 4, 12 minus 8, that gives me 4. Yeah. And then 5 minus 3, that gives me 2 last time I checked. So that's going to give me 24. All right. So welcome to the integer evaluation. Yeah. Now, typically what happens in my class is that I usually give students worksheets. Yeah. Because I have to make sure that you practice what is going on. All right. So let me know. You can always put it in the comments later or whenever you need to. If you guys would love worksheets, right? Okay. If you guys would love worksheets, because that's what my students in my for my company, that's what they go through. So we learn things and we'll practice it. We'll practice it. Yeah. So every week, every student gets a worksheet. So let me know if that's something that you guys would like. We'll then start to kind of put a little light worksheet for you guys to keep on practicing. All right. So now to recap what's happening here, we just learned about simplifying with numerical numbers, integers specifically, and then also simplifying when there is algebra. Yeah. When there is like terms. So I think how I'm going to wind down is with the algebra version, and then we'll take it from there. All right. So let's go. Ready, set, go. We're going to have negative 5w plus 11w. Go. And then we're going to go to 8w plus 13w. Negative 4x plus 7x. And then we're going to do, let's do, what else? What else we want to do here? Because the same logic we're going to apply here again in everybody. So what else we want to do? We want to do 13y minus a 44y. Yeah, man. We'll start spice it up a little bit. Yeah. So let's go. Ready, set, go. Logic. It's all about that. When you have adding and subtracting, it's all about logic here, everybody. There's no multiply. You notice that there's no multiply involved. This is all adding and subtracting. Once you do that, it's all about logic. So then now let's go. This one now I owe 5. I have 11. Can I pay off how much I owe? Yes. How much is going to be left over? That's going to be 11 minus 5, sir. That's going to be 6. So we're going to have 6 of the W's them left over. That's it. That's logic, right? But if I wanted to do quick and fast, which one's the bigger number? 11. He's the what's the sign on him? Positive. He's going to be the winner. So it's going to be a positive, and I'm going to then take the bigger and subtract the smaller and get the same 6W. Right? Whichever way you prefer, doesn't matter to me. Yeah. Then now I have 8 W's. So it's like I have 8. What starts with W? Nothing around me starts with W. So you have 8 of those W's, and you're gonna add 13 more W's to that. It's the same answer you get if you add 8 plus 13. If you have $8 and you add $13, you just add them together, don't? So the same thing here. If I have 8 of some object, 8 games, and I'm adding 13 games, I'm going to have 21 games at the end of the game, at the end of all of that. All right. Then now let's go again here. Negative 4x. I owe 4 of something, and I have 7. Right. Once again, we can use logic. Right. Can I pay off how much I owe? Yes. So the answer is going to be positive. Once the answer is yes, the answer is going to be positive. Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That's going to give me 3. So I'm going to have 3x there. Okay. Right. And then now let's go to the last one now. Dun, 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 dun. All right. Clear some space. There we go. All right. So then now 13y minus 44y. Yeah. I have 13. I owe 44. Do I have enough to pay out the 44 that I owe? No, I don't. So then I'm going to still be owing because I don't have enough. Once the answer is a no, you're going to still be a negative. If the answer is a yes, it's going to be positive, right? Take the bigger number, subtract the smaller number. That's going to reveal how much you still need to pay, right? So 4 minus 3, 1. 4 minus 1, 3. So I'm going to still be owing 31 of those y's, all right? So this is it in a nutshell. So I think what I'm going to wind down with now is a light touch on something that pops up in CXE, and it's the world of exponents. All I'm going to do is just explain what it is, and then we're going to build on it in next week's session. They can sometimes be called indices, exponents. What does them call? Indices, exponents, I don't even know. There's a couple other words for it. Now, exponents, how do they look? 3, and then put a little 2 up here. Now, in practice, I'm seeing students do, well, the answer is 6. That's what they'll tell me. Because they think it's saying 3 times 2. But me have a question. Why wouldn't they just tell you 3 times 2 then? Yeah? So that means that it must mean that it's something different it means then, right? If they wanted 3 times 2, they would have asked you 3 times 2. So obviously, this has to mean something different than just 3 times 2, right? So let's first off make sure we understand this. This guy down here, he's called the base. This guy up here, he's called the exponent, all right? Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it like 5 different times, and it's for a reason. The exponent tells you how many times the base going to repeat. Let's say it again. The exponent is telling you how many times the base should appear after that equal sign. So if you see a 2 up here, it's saying that this number at the base needs to appear 2 times, 3 and 3. Fill it in with multiply. When I say fill it in with multiply, I mean in between all numbers, fill it in with multiply, right? 3 times 3 is 9. So this is called 3 squared. So anything to a second power is called squared. That's a special name for him. So I would say 3 squared. Now, when I'm doing 3 squared, it's actually asking you to say 3 times 3, which gives you 9. All right? Let's go again. Let's kind of make it a little bit harder. Why not? Yeah? So if I go to, say, for example, 4 and this guy up here. Once again, the logic don't change. The number up here, that exponent, what does he tell you? What did I say? I'm going to say it 5 times, right? He tells you how many times the base going to repeat. So the base is 4. So I'm going to repeat him 1, 2, 3 times. Fill it in with multiply. Yeah? So then in between the numbers, we're going to fill it in with multiply. Then that's what it's asking you to solve for. So 4 times 4, last time I checked, is 16. 16 times 4, if you ever do it right like this, I don't want nobody use calculator yet. Yeah? 4 times 6, 24. Carry my 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus my 2 gives me 6. So the answer would be 64. Yeah? So hopefully that helps everybody to understand what exponents we're really asking in the first place. So the number at the top, the exponent, he's really just telling you how many times the base needs to repeat, and you're going to be multiplying the base all together. All right? So let's go through a couple of them. And then that's how we wind down for today, because I have a session right in 5 minutes. All right. So I gave you guys a good amount, don't? So see you next week again. So ready, set, go. Let's go to 3 to the 4th power. Yeah. 5 cubed and 2 to the 3rd. Yeah, let's do that. Once again. What does the exponent tell me? He's telling me how much time the base needs to repeat. So I need to see the base, which is 3, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fill it in with multiply, and then go calculate that. 3 times 3, that's 9. 9 times 3, that's 27. 27 times 3, go set it up. Yeah? And then go get the answer. Don't use calculator, please. That's not the time for no calculator. Right? That's going to give me 81. Last time I checked. 3 times 7, 21. Carry my 2. 3 times 2, 6. Plus my 2 gives me 8, 81. Yeah? So exponents then tell me, this guy at the top is called exponent, everybody. Right? He tells you how many times the base needs to repeat. So this tells me that I need to see 5 3 times. Fill it in with multiply. And then go and evaluate what that would give you. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5, no calculator, people. Set it up. Yeah? Because what we want to build here is your mental capacity so you can start to work things out in your head quicker. Yeah? So you don't always need a calculator. 5 times 5 is 25. Yeah? Carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2, 125. Move on with your life. Yeah? right? Then now let's wind down with 2 cube. We wind down with something very simple. So let's do 2 cube, and then we're done for today. I appreciate everybody joining. I appreciate the likes, right? Please share it with your friends. All right, so let's wind down with 2 cube. Once again, the exponent tells you how many times the base, which is down here, is going to repeat. So the 2 is going to repeat 3 times. Infinity will multiply. Yeah? So 2 times 2, last time I checked is 4. 4 times 2, that gives me 8. Move on. All right? Thanks, everybody. Let me know. Message us at your actuary tutor. Let me kind of just put the stuff here. You can feel free to message me on Instagram if you want to at your actuary tutor JA, right? Next week, we're going to build on this. So make sure you check it over again. Make sure you understand everything. And then we're going to build on this. So you can check us out as your actuary tutor JA. If you want to schedule a session with us, you can easily WhatsApp me at 20. My number is here. Right? You can easily WhatsApp me there if you ever want to start sessions with us. The main thing, though, for this program, though, we're trying to give back. So I want to make sure everybody is getting free game, catching up to what's happening in math. Have an awesome rest of your weekend. All right? Later.